Hello, Dallas. It's time to wake up and get wealthy. Hi, I'm Terri Arends, the Group Fitness and Wellness Director here with the Arends family, JCC, and also the Wellness Director with the Lieberman Family Center. It is April, and April is that 1 month out of the year that people really associate with spring cleaning, Earth Day, and just getting organized. So this is what's really cool about this segment today. I've been looking forward to this segment for a really long time. I have today on the set with us Toni Keller, who is a closet organizer. That's her side hustle. And we are here with Toni today, and we are just going to learn some tips and tricks on how to get organized, how to clean out those closets and keep them clean and remain tidy. And I'm just really excited to have you on the segment today, Toni. So thank you for coming on. I'm really excited to dive into this and for us to get a little smarter when it comes to closet organization and clearing the clutter. Thank you, Toni.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Great. Yes. So tell me a little bit about this. Okay, so by trade, you are a paralegal.
Yes.
And then I learned through some of our friends here in the community that you also love and help folks organize closets. So how did this, okay, you're a paralegal, and then your side hustle is organized. So did it start out that you were just like organizing a closet for a friend, and or how did you get into this? Tell us about that.
Well, I think if I look back at my life, I think this all started when I was in elementary school. I was always a little bit OCD about my crayons and my markers.
Oh.
And everything had to be in color order. And if somebody wanted to borrow my crayons or my markers, which I was happy to do, I was
Sharing is good.
Sharing is caring. I kind of insisted that they put them back where they got them. And so I think that just kind of, took on a life of its own. And whether it was during college or post-college, I would be at one of my friends' houses. We would just be talking or in the closet looking at clothes or whatever girls look at. And I would say to myself, oh my gosh, this needs a little work. And I didn't even really ask. I would just start doing my thing. And then it sort of became a joke amongst my friends. Let's invite Toni over because she'll clean out my closet. She'll organize my drawers. She'll organize my kitchen and my garage.
I'm going to invite you over to my house next week. I love this. And you saw my office, so maybe we could start there. But I have one big question, because when I think about organizing anything, like a closet, an office, whatever it may be, just thinking about it, and I'm in the fitness business, and it would be like running a marathon for me, might be, or teaching a spin class is something that it comes fairly easy, Maybe not the marathon, but definitely the spin class. So when I think about organizing a closet, I become overwhelmed, and it almost seems to be exhausting, like an exhausting thing. And it's sitting in my brain, and I'm not sure where to start or how to even go about it. So my big question is, how could I declutter something at my house, maybe 1 or 2 closets, and just mentally think about it, and that it's not a big hassle? How do you is there a way just to get past that first barrier of just thinking, oh my gosh, I'll put it on the calendar, and then I just, or procrastinate.
Right.
And am I a lone ranger, or are there lots of people like this? What do I do? How do I just jump that first hoop?
Well, I think a lot of people procrastinate about things that they, don't feel passionate about. And certainly going through one's closet doesn't sound super romantic or anything.
No.
But I think if you can think about how you're going to feel after you do it and what it's going to feel like to open the closet and A, be able to find the things that you're looking for, B, to not find things that you don't need and you don't want and other people can benefit from because you can donate them. And 3, at least for me, there's this sense of accomplishment after you're done. And maybe not look at it as a chore, look at it as it's going to be so awesome when it's done.
That makes perfect sense, and I think that if I do look at it in those ways, like the psychological benefits from it, that, and I like the way you said that it's not a chore, and there are these benefits that come with it after the project's done.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that is real helpful, and I think that would be a real helpful tip for our viewers as well, if any of them are out there like myself, that put it on the calendar and just get exhausted about thinking about doing it.
Right.
Yeah, so that just makes really a lot of sense. And if starting with a closet, what do you think is the best way to go about it? I mean, to start with a small closet versus a large closet. I mean, providing that you have more than one closet in your home.
Right.
Which one do you pick? Is there a method? Do I pick the small one or the large one, or does it really matter?
I don't think it really matters. I find with women, the one that they want to tackle first, of course, is their clothing closet. Because that's the closet that most of us are in every day. Mm-hmm. And I think that if you can think about your closet as your little oasis, your little boutique that you want to walk into every day, and you want to find things in there that make you feel good. You don't want it, there's people who believe in quantity versus quality, and I'm not that person. I would rather have 10 things in my closet that I absolutely love and can mix and match and make different outfits with than have 50 things that are kind of because that you just don't really feel very good in things that are And I'm not saying necessarily they have to be super expensive, but they have to be things that when you put them on, you feel good, and you just get rid of all the noise.
I love that because, that makes perfect sense because there's probably 50 things in my closet, but there's probably only 10 things that I really are my go-tos. So why keep the other things? That is a really great tip. I think that is one that's going to really stick with me tonight when I get home to my closet. A friend of mine, one day when I was hemming and hawing around and thinking, I really need to organize my closet. And so a friend of mine suggested, over a glass of wine, we were chatting, and suggested that I go with this method. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of it or before, but the 2, 3, 4 box method.
I've heard of that.
Okay, and so my understanding, this method basically 2, 3, or 4 boxes where you're using different boxes as you're taking things out of the closet. Oh my gosh, that's like organizing before you organize. I'm exhausted. But is there a reason to do it that way, or is that just one idea and it doesn't work for you, or it does work for you, or?
I don't think that method would work for me. I'm more of a big picture person, and to me, I like to do a closet so there's a lot of consistency in it, and that starts with all your hangers being the same. And it drives me nuts when I look at someone's closet and they have some plastic hangers in different colors, and then they have the cleaner's hangers, and then they have my preference is the very thin, like velvet hangers. And there's something about when everything is hung on the same thing, the same hanger, if you will, that when you're done, it just looks pretty. And it doesn't matter to me if I start with shoes or clothes or belts or scarves or jackets or dressy clothes. I really ask my clients, when was the last time you wore this? And if you look at me and say, I don't know, that probably means it doesn't need to stay. There's exceptions to the rule. If you have a piece that is special to you for some reason, you might have paid a lot of money for it, or you think it's out of style. Like everybody always says, animal print goes in and out. Animal print is always in style, just a teeny bit. So I think you can do it all at once and you don't have to take things out to put them back. I just take things out.
Okay.
And they go bye-bye.
So basically though, to dig a little deeper into this, if I'm gonna go and super organize my closet, do I just take everything out, just purge it out into the next room or whatever, and then start one by one putting things back in the closet, or do I just rearrange what I have and just throw out what I don't want?
The latter is the way that I do it, because that way the person, I mean, when you do a closet, it's best to have the person with you, because you're asking them about some of their garments and things in their closet. And if everything is still in there, they're not going to get this sense of, oh my God, what do I get to keep? You know, they really are, they're saying to themselves, yeah, I really don't need that. And then they feel good about getting rid of it.
Okay, so I'm thinking, like, I'm your client, and you're helping me with this closet, and it's my clothing closet. And do you have like a number, like I'll say, well, I've worn this 3 times this year. So is there like a certain number where you say, get rid of it? Like it should be, I've worn this 8 times this year, almost once a month?
No, I don't. I think if somebody said, I don't remember when I last wore it, then that's, that to me signals it might not need to stay. But, you know, if it's a certain cashmere turtleneck, you only wore it 3 times, well, I mean, we do live in Dallas, and who's to say that you ever need a cashmere turtleneck, or you might need one every day. So,
yeah,
I don't necessarily think that how many times you wore it is indicative of keeping it or getting rid of it.
Okay, well, I'll run with that one. Thank you. And so I need to mention my sister and I are sort of polar opposite when it comes to this organization of closets and drawers and all of that good stuff. So she takes and puts things that are like seasonal. So she puts things together, seasonal colors, like light to dark, different brands together. And that's sort of her closet. Like, I'm afraid to go in it because it's just so, like, immaculate. So what do you feel like as far as the best way and strategy? Is it to put things seasonal? What are your tips? We're into the closet now. Give us the secret sauce, Toni.
I think that if you have seasonal clothes, like let's say sweaters, for example, I like to keep the sweaters all together. And, you know, if you have heavy coats or, like heavy coats and sweaters would be in one area. But I tend to, like your sister, I like light to dark, but I also like let's start with white tank tops, white t-shirts, short sleeve shirts, white long sleeve shirts, and then on to the next color. And then printed things such as this, I put those in a little section for all my long sleeve printed blouses. I put all my workout stuff in another little section. But for those people who have a lot of clothes and they are able to do the seasonal thing, then there's nothing wrong with that. Because then you have more space to put your things that you have for that other season.
Okay, well that makes sense. I think I would be one maybe to, I don't know, do people also organize in a way where all of your like certain shirts are together, like if you have sleeveless and then you have short sleeve shirts that are more like for spring and summer, and then you put your winter stuff, you're saying, in the back or whatever, or do you rotate it out? Oh, now it's winter, so I rotate all this to the front and slide everything else to the back of the closet, or how does that work?
I mean, I think that living in Dallas, besides sweaters, leather jackets, heavier outerwear, those are the things that I would rotate. But as far as shirts and whatnot, I kind of leave those all in place and just do per color the sleeveless, like tank tops, then short sleeve, and then long sleeve.
Okay.
But I don't find the weather to be that different that I have to rotate those things out. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah. Okay, so that makes sense. What about, like, shoes? Like, do you just throw them on the not, you don't throw them, I do, but do you just place them on the floor and that they're all, or is there a way to keep them that, your puppy won't come in and take them and destroy them, or are there containers, or how do you do the whole shoe thing, Toni?
Well, you can do containers forever. I mean, I like to put sweaters in containers because of moths. I don't like necessarily the smell of mothballs to have, your sweaters hanging in your closet. But if they're in clear plastic containers, then you can see them. As far as shoes go, depending on the person and the space that they have in their closet, sometimes I take a picture of their shoes and I put that picture on the front of a clear shoe box, and then their shoes are in the box with the top. And that way they don't have to open every box and go, which shoes are those? Some women, of course, have, shelves in their closet where I put their shoes from light colors to dark colors. Their boots are probably in one section. Their tennis shoes. Now all of us wear tennis shoes, not just for going to the gym, but just because it's fabulous to just wear tennis shoes and not high heels on an everyday basis. So I kind of divide it out like that. It's more indicative of the person's closet as far as the shoes go. But I like things off the floor.
Oh, okay. And so what about, like, the men's side of the closet, or their separate closet? Do you, for men, do you put is it also in boxes? I can't imagine. What do you do for those guys?
Those guys, for example, my best friend's husband, I am always doing his closet every time I'm over there. No, Barry would not like his shoes in boxes. So he has in his closet little built-in cubbies, and the shoes go in there. And if he didn't have that, and he wasn't into getting like a shoe rack, then I guess they'd be on the floor. That would be an exception. Hopefully you can talk the man into doing something that's aesthetically pleasing as well.
Oh, I love that. Yes. Okay, well, I think sometimes, received a gift, and it's something, and maybe I've worn it once, or maybe I've never worn it, but I guess the giver doesn't need to know that. But but it still has sentimental value. So things that are really have sentimental value, how do you, suggest to your client that it's time to give this item up and donate it or something like that?
That's a great question. I think that, let's say your sister gave you a sweater and it's really not your taste and you don't like the way it fits, but she did take the time to pick it out, and so you kind of want to honor that. If there's room in your closet, you can put it in a little box up on the top shelf and just keep it in case you ever ask about it. And if not, if you're really never going to wear it, I am all about donating things. There are so many people that have nothing, and we all have a lot, and it's important not to lose sight of that. And I don't suggest people give or donate things that have schmutz all over it and stains, because I think that is not necessary. But things that are gently worn that you're not wearing, like this particular sweater, give it to somebody who will think it is the greatest thing that they ever received in their life, because they need it.
And do you have some suggestions for our viewers on where most of your clients will, and yourself, where you'll take items for donation?
A great place that I like is Genesis Women's Shelter. And it's great because you just pull up and you don't even have to get out of your car if you don't want to. And it's just, it's a wonderful, they're a wonderful group that does a lot for women. Clothes Horse Anonymous, I think everybody probably knows about that. There's also Jewish Family Services is a great place to take things.
Jewish Family Services, they take more than just clothing, right?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yeah, and I think you call and they tell you what they take. Some places that you donate to, especially if let's say they were higher end clothing and purses and shoes, some of the places have gotten very particular about which vendors they'll take. So it's always better to call first before going and finding out what their specifics are before you go and take all of these things. I recently did a ladies' closet, which took me like 3 Sundays to do. She had a huge closet and gorgeous, gorgeous clothes. And we got it to where she had half as many things in her closet because she realized how many things she wasn't wearing. And those items went to women who are looking for jobs, want to get back out in the world because they've had a difficult family life or something horrible happened to them, and that always makes me feel really good to help those women.
Yes, and I know I've some other more familiar, but those are really great examples, and thank you for that, because I'm going to definitely use those sources as well. But then there's also Goodwill. Like I drop every year. I think I drop off items to Goodwill. So, but I was just trying to think if there was any other sources, or have we pretty much
I mean, there certainly are more sources. Those are just my favorites.
I see. Yeah. Yeah. So when we're doing this task, how often should we like declutter, organize? I mean, once a year or twice a year or monthly?
I think once a year.
Okay, once a year. And so in between that once a year, what are your tips on how you can keep it organized? There's 11 other months out of the year. Do you have any like tips, or is it just from the visual and that you feel good?
I think it's really the two that you mentioned. Most women like pretty. I mean, they like things that are pretty. And once your closet is organized, it doesn't matter how big your closet is. You could put in a pretty light fixture. You could put in a little, doesn't have to be expensive. Target has cute little ottomans that you could put in your closet, where you could sit and buckle your shoes, let's say. Or if you just want to go in there and sit and try to think of what you want to wear. Also, if you have shelving in your closet and your closet is just painted white, you can go to, let's say, Paper Source and get some of your favorite wrapping paper, let's say, and you can line the shelves so when you're looking at them, you see this pretty paper, and then you sort of want your closet to stay pretty.
Nice.
Just
That's a really cool. That's a cool tip. I like that. Yeah, and so I, for example, have a condo, so the storage space is very lacking,
Right.
and also my spaces are small, like very small closets. I think when the builder was, didn't think it all through when he was looking at the space for closet. So for small spaces, do you have any tips on how to make that, appealing, that makes me want to every month just keep it nice and organized?
I think, again, if, let's say that closet is in the hallway and it's a closet that maybe when you have guests over, you would hang their coat in that closet. Well, you want to open up that closet and feel good if the person saw inside of it. So, I think stacked boxes are always good. I think that you can, depending on what you're keeping in that closet, you can always put in a second bar. And if that's a place where you're keeping shirts or folded sweaters, tablecloths, you can add that second bar in the closet.
Yeah.
I think it's really pretty easy to organize. And it keeps your mind less stressed because you're not digging in to try to find things. And also a label maker is another just very inexpensive thing that you can get.
And what do I do with a label maker?
Let's say you had a box and it had scarves in it, for example.
Oh, okay.
Just make yourself a little label, just stick it on there.
Label everything. Yeah, I like that. And the second bar, because most closets are tall.
Right.
They have height to them, so to add that second bar. Oh, I love that. That is what I'm going to do this weekend. Is add a second bar to my closet. And so, this has really been enlightening for me, and I'm sure for our viewers as well. And it's just really been fun to kind of get to dive into this and to get some really great ideas, super ideas on how to get a little organized. Here at the J, we are also, for the whole month of April, we're looking at a few events that are going to be happening. One being that, it is Earth Day. And so on April 22nd, we're going to have an outdoor class, and just to kind of reacquaint ourselves with the outdoors and that whole spring concept again. And so we'll be having yoga outside, And in addition to that, we're also, for the whole month of April, we're going to be doing Earth Day pledges. So I'll have to get whatever your pledge is, and we're going to have pledge cards. And we're going to give away stress balls, Earth Day stress balls this month. So, and what's really great about the clutter thing is we have 2 things happening on after the weekend of Earth Day. On the 25th of April, we have junk luggers coming. So if you have any e-waste that you want to get rid of, you can clear the clutter that way. They'll be here in our parking lot along with a paper shredder truck. Shred truck. And the shred truck it's secured. So if you have any paper document items that you want to shred, that is also going to be happening on the 25th. You can just kind of go in our parking lot and just drive through and unload the clutter here at the JCC.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Great idea.
Well, anyways, I just want to thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you.
And you just shared so many great tips, and I'm definitely you've passed the ball to me, and I'm gonna run it to the end zone. I'm gonna score the touchdown, and thank you again.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
And we are just gonna conclude. This is another Wake Up and Get Wellthy, and thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Bye.